Okay, so I thought I would make a video about my favourite movies from Asian cinema. So yeah, I've always kind of been into films, not just films from Asia, from England, Japan, obviously Japan's Asia, France, Germany, America, Holland, wherever. If it's a good film, then I like it. But as I live in China, I thought it'd be more relevant for me to make a video about what Asian films I like. There are some Chinese films there's some Korean films, there are some Japanese films on this list. I'm going to do the list in two parts, so there'll be 5 movies on part 1, 5 movies on part 2. When I started editing it all together, it got a bit long, so I thought I'd break it up and make it easier to watch. So yeah, if you're into Asian films, I'd love to hear what films you like. If you like or don't like any of the films that I've put on my list, I'd love to hear why. So yeah, any recommendations for other films to me, that'd be great. And yeah, please like, comment and subscribe. And these aren't necessarily my top 10 films from Asia. These are 10 films off the top of my head that I think are really good. It's hard to put top 10s when it comes to movies or music or whatever, it's how you're feeling at that moment, I think. And so yeah, please enjoy the video and yeah, bye. Okay, so the first film I want to talk about is called When Marnie Was There. When Marnie Was There is a Japanese anime film by Studio Ghibli. Studio Ghibli are responsible for many very famous anime films, such as Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro, and Spirited Away. They're the 3 most famous films, but none of them have made it onto my list. Obviously, I know them, they're great, but When Marnie Was There is probably one of my favourite Studio Ghibli films. Okay, so When Marnie Was There was one of the last films made before the Studio Ghibli. I think he was the director or head animator, the very famous Hayao Miyazaki. Probably pronouncing his name wrong, that's why I said it so quickly, so hopefully you wouldn't catch on to it. But before he retired and before another one of the very senior Studio Ghibli staff retired too. So that was kind of the last film at the end of an era for Studio Ghibli. But yeah, let's talk about the film itself. The film is based on the book When Marnie Was There, written by Joan G. Robinson. The original book was the setting was in Norfolk in England, which is very close to where I'm from. But for the movie, the setting was transported to Japan. Okay, so the story is of a young girl. She's from the city, and she's having some stress. She's not too she's quite socially inept. Not very good at making friends, and she's having some issues in regards to that. So basically, her parents think it would be good if she could go spend the summer in the countryside. So she does. She goes and lives with some family friends, and she befriends another girl who lives quite close to her. And they've both kind of got odd personalities, and it's just basically about their relationship through the movie. It's really I found this movie really, really, I don't usually get sad in movies. There's a few movies that make me sad, but this one actually made me really sad. If you've seen it, you probably know. I'm not saying it's not like the usual tugging at your heartstrings. It's kind of just sort of built up over the movie. Just the emotion in it, the animation's so nice. I just think it's a really, really nice film to watch, and I would definitely recommend it. It's one of my favourite films from Studio Ghibli, which is saying a lot. For anyone who's aware of Studio Ghibli's films, you know how great they are. And so yeah, to be on top of somebody's list for that, that's definitely a high praise. So yeah, check out When Marnie Was There. Okay. Hey, so yeah, my clothes have changed. I'm not going to be doing this whole all these movies on the same day. I want to watch some of them again, just to sort of refresh my memory about them. Um, and last night I did it. It was night time, and I had the lights on, and I just finished work, and I looked really sweaty. And so now I'm gonna do it in the daylight. Not that the cold, harsh light of day does me any favors, but yeah, okay. So the next movie I want to talk about is one I watched again last night. I watched it, I think about 3 years ago, probably. I can't remember where I heard about it from, but it's a Japanese horror film called Audition. Okay, so it's a 1999 film. I'm not sure who the director is. I'm not going to go into all of that for all of the movies. Just okay. So yeah, Audition is about a man at the start of the movie. His wife has basically just passed away, and then it sort of jumps forward to 7 years later, and his son's sort of grown up, and his son says to him, "I think you should you're looking old. I think you should try and remarry, try and find a new girlfriend." So he sort of takes that to heart and decides that he will try and find a new girlfriend. So he talks to one of his friends who works for a movie production company, and he tells him about his problem, and the man says, "Okay, I know what I can do. We have a movie at the moment, and we're looking for a young, attractive female actress for the movie. You can come along to the auditions, and if one of them stands out, you can sort of play the role of the producer and call her back and say you're interested in her doing the film, and you can build a relationship from there." So they do that, and one particular girl stands out to him, and yeah, that's, I don't want to tell you anymore, but it's a really creepy, really kind of scary, really, especially compared to modern horror films. I don't like the boo, make you want to jump kind of horror films. It doesn't scare me, that doesn't interest me. But this is it's more the creepy movies that scare me, and this is definitely creepy. It's a bit slow. I remember the first time I watched it, because I heard good things about it, then I watched it, and then you get about 30 minutes into it, and it's a bit slow, because it's just, like I said, just the guy doing auditions, and nothing scary happens. And then for maybe the last third of the movie, it all goes a bit nuts, basically. It goes really slightly turbo. But yeah, it's a really good film, really creepy. If you haven't seen it, definitely recommend watching it. That's Audition. Okay. Okay, next one I want to talk about is Black Coal Thin Ice. I did a movie review on this on my channel before, solely about this movie because I liked it so much. So yeah, it's made it to my list. So I'll quickly go over it again. So Black Coal Thin Ice is a movie set in the north of China. It's a kind of police detective drama slash murder mystery. It's a Chinese movie. So yeah, body parts start showing up in coal mines all over China, thousands of kilometers apart, on the same day basically. People are trying to figure out how it happens, who's done it. The two cops investigating it, they track a suspect to a laundrette, and a shootout ensues. All the suspects are killed, apart from the two policemen. I think they're both wounded. So the case is closed basically. They say they got the people, and then 5 years later, skip to 5 years later, the events at the laundrette have sort of left the cops. One of the cops, the main character, pretty traumatized, and he sort of dropped out of the police force, become a security guard, drinking a lot, I think the actor had to put on like 50 pounds or something to play this role of when he became an alcoholic and all that. And yeah, body parts start showing up again, so they look into investigating. So yeah, like I mentioned in my review before, it's really nicely shot. It's got some good plot twists. Pretty gritty. I like gritty drama. Um, and yeah, I just like the shots of the coal mines and the snow. It's obviously in the north of China. I just think it's really nice, and it's good with a good story. So definitely check it out, or just check out my other review about it, which is a lot more in depth. So that's Black Coal Thin Ice. Okay, so the next film is Old Boy. It's a pretty famous film in regards to Asian cinema. It's pretty well known in the West. It was recently remade by Spike Lee. I haven't seen the remake. Not really that interested in seeing the remake. I don't think there's much that can be improved from the original version. So yeah, it's a 2003 movie directed by Park Chan-wook, who's directed many other pretty famous Korean films, and he's also done some English language films too. One called Stoker with Nicole Kidman, but I won't really talk. There's another film of his that's on my list as well, so I'll talk about that later too. So yeah, Old Boy is part of the Vengeance trilogy. There's three films. Vengeance for no, was it something Vengeance for Mr. Vengeance or something? No, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. I haven't seen Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, but I've seen Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. It's okay. It didn't make it onto my list, but so yeah, back to Old Boy. Old Boy is a Korean movie. Basically, at the start of the movie, you see a man. He's sitting in a police station. He's drunk. He's causing a lot of issues for the police, just being drunk and disorderly, and somebody has to come down, take him from the police station. It's obvious his life's in a bit of a mess. So yeah, one of his friends comes and bails him out, and then he goes and calls his daughter from a payphone because it's his daughter's birthday, and all of a sudden he is snatched away from the phone box, away from his friend. His friend doesn't see who does it, and he wakes up in a room, just like a small room. It has a small kitchenette, a bed, and a TV, and that's it basically. So he wakes up in this strange room, and people just slide food under the door. So he's asking them, "Let me out, I'm sorry, what did I do? Blah blah blah." And he doesn't know why he's locked in the room, and he ends up staying there for, I think it's about 15 or 17 years or something like that. And they keep gassing him to sleep when they want to give him injections or whatever, clean his room, or so he goes a bit nuts, as you can imagine. And then all of a sudden one day he just wakes up and he's on a rooftop, and so his mission is obviously to find out who locked him up. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good movie. It's a pretty complicated plot. Once it gets into why he was locked up there, I won't go into any further details. But it's kind of movie you've got to watch sort of 2 or 3 times to really wrap your head around why he was locked up. And yeah, it doesn't shy away from the gore, but it's not kind of pointless gore. It's you probably do the same in that situation, kind of gore. So yeah, you've probably heard of it or watched it if you're into Asian cinema already. And but yeah, that's definitely on my list of top 10 films. Not my top 10 films, just films that I like from Asia. Okay. Okay, the fifth movie I want to talk about, the final one for the first part of the video, is another anime film called Paprika. It's, what year was it made? Paprika was made 2006. Yeah, 2006. So Paprika is by Madhouse Studios, which is an animation studio in Japan. It's basically about there's this little electronic devices called the DC Mini, and it basically can control people's dreams, and so it allows you to enter into people's dreams and things like that. This scientist in the movie has created them, and basically one of them is stolen, and so somebody is going around killing people using these things because they're basically able to control people's minds and go into their dreams, and the people can't tell whether they're dreaming or not, so this group of people from the company and detectives are trying to hunt this person, but that's pretty hard when this person can basically control you. So yeah, it's a pretty trippy movie. A lot of people say that this is what Inception was based on. Yeah, there's been a lot of controversy about the start date of when Paprika was being made, when they started making Paprika and when they started making Inception, because Paprika was obviously released a lot before Inception, but then they're saying, oh, but Inception, they started making and writing Inception a long time before Paprika was released or finished. So yeah, there's a lot of controversy about that, which is quite interesting. I mean, you watch Paprika and there's definitely, it's kind of strange how the Inception story is kind of so similar. Just the whole dream thing, going into people's dreams and stuff like that. But yeah, Paprika's really good. I wouldn't necessarily say the animation is up there with Studio Ghibli, but the story's really cool. Like I said, pretty trippy stuff. So yeah, if you like animation, cool stories, mind control, dreams, stuff like that, check out Paprika. So yeah, that's the end of my first 5 suggestions and movies I like. Please check out part 2, which I'll get up as soon as possible. That should be coming maybe tomorrow. And please like, comment, subscribe. Leave some comments about the videos I've suggested, about the movies I've suggested. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Why? Are there any other ones I should review, or any that you think I should have included on my list that I haven't? I'll be interested to hear about those. Okay, so thanks for your time. Bye.